What do you think is the easiest genre for RPGs to write for?
I guess the easiest, but also the most difficult, is the fantasy genre, right? That is the most established one. That is what people associate with role-playing games, with Dungeons and Dragons, which to a lot of people is the only role-playing game that exists, right? Unfortunately. So it is very easy to tap into those fantasy dungeon type tropes because everyone knows them, everyone understands them, everyone knows what an elf and a dwarf and an orc and a goblin are, right? Everyone knows what a wizard and a fighter and a cleric is. Anyone who's even tangentially encountered role-playing games or only played computer RPGs or MMOs understands all of those concepts. So a lot of the heavy lifting is already done for you when you sit down to write. You don't need to go into a whole bunch of explanatory detail about any of those things, which frees up space and mental bandwidth to do other things, right? And fantasy gamers aren't necessarily particularly discriminating or demanding. I mean, Wizards has put out awful products for at least a couple of years now, and people still snap them up and buy them and are enthused and happy with what they've got. Unless you're a more experienced gamer of more rarefied taste, I'm a man of wealth and taste. But as a creator who might get frustrated and want to do something more interesting with the fantasy genre, it's also the most difficult because everything has been done. Everything has been tried. Different spins and ideas on the fantasy game, whether it's different types of OSR rules or whether it's the background or anything. Yeah, it has all been done and probably better due to the sheer volume of stuff that's out there than you can manage. So the audience might be happy with cheesy pap, right? Perfectly happy with that for an adventure. I've often said, bad movie plots and terrible book plots can make for great adventures. But for you as a creator, you might want to stretch your legs a bit more, in which case it can become very frustrating. So it's both the easiest and the most difficult. Honourable mention to modern games, because everyone already lives in the real world and already understands how things work or are supposed to work in the modern world, so there's a lot less questions and so on with that. But coming up with plots and ideas in a world with mobile phones and so on presents its own challenges.